Thank you for clicking on this video and listening to yet another edition of Sports Central Podcast. Today, I have all my topics written down here on a document, a Google document specifically. So I go ahead and just read those off. To start this, we're going to start this in a not so positive way. Former Patriots coach and former University of North Texas coach Rod Rust has passed away at the age of 90. Of course, with the Patriots, he never did win the Super Bowl with the Patriots, but at North Texas, he was very successful. This is some past news. Amari Cooper is traded to the Cowboys for a first-round pick. Of course, I think this is a great trade if you are the Raiders, because now you have 3 first-round picks in the next draft, and now you control the draft. If you still had Khalil Mack, then I think you'd be set for a few years. Broncos quarterback Chad Kelly is released after arrest charges. I mean, can't go much in depth there. That's just what happened. The NFL acknowledges a flag should have been thrown after Baker Mayfield was hit in the helmet. Now, I have to look up a video. Shame on me, I wasn't prepared. I should have this video already pulled up, but now I have to go look it up. So, if YouTube will work here, that'll be playing. But in the meantime, of course, as I'm looking for the video, I can simply just kind of go over that game. Well, first of all, let me look up the thing here. Okay. This should be working. Browns upset after Baker Mayfield helmet hit. Okay, so of course that game was very close. The following video you're about to listen to is basically just 2 minutes of Browns players and staff talking about how talking about how bad that call was. Of course, the referee said he was allowed to get hit in the head, which, of course, nowadays they're trying to protect quarterbacks at a very extreme level at all costs, and it's just absurd that they say he's allowed to get hit in the head. Anyway, here's a 2-minute recap of that hit. First, we have an advertisement. This is what... I'm gonna pause. That was the dumbest advertisement I've ever seen. I just watched that. That was atrocious. Anyway, here's the video.
At the time, because I was fuming mad to hear the ref say he's allowed to be hit in the head. I thought that's why they put in the rule, but we'll see.
Being an emphasis at this year, kind of surprising to pick that one up. In players' minds, whether the quarterback's giving himself up sliding or not, you can't really launch helmet to helmet. So I don't really understand the reasoning of picking it up, saying that he was still a runner, because even if he's a runner, that play's been pretty much taken out of the game this year. So
that series ended at the 1-yard line.
Absolutely, it could have helped us to score. Yeah, could have been 15 more yards and a first down, closer to the end zone. Like I said, we need to take any points we can get. But that didn't define the game. We should have scored earlier and after that too.
And afterwards, you're a little bit downtrodden about it. It's upsetting, especially when they're trying to protect quarterbacks at all costs. But it is what it is. We're going to go out there and we got to kind of overcome that, and we've had plenty of penalties this year, so we're trying to lower that number as well.
Now, I think the most important thing for the league and for teams and for coaches, for everybody, we just want to get it right. Games are won and lost on these things. Jobs will be on the line because of these things, and I think that's important. We just want it to be right.
What was the reaction of your teammates when you popped up and got in his face like you did?
That's the type of energy, and fire that I try and bring to the game. I don't know, a good reaction because it was a big play. We converted and we moved the ball down the field, so we played well in that second half because we were clicking on all cylinders.
We should get down a lot sooner, but it's great to see him get up from it, bounce back, and go down there and make more plays.
If that hit's not flagged, you wonder what would be flagged. What does it take to get a flag on a hit to the head?
probably not playing quarterback for the Browns.
There's a lot of talk about slow starts, but the fact is, overtimes have had trouble.
So that's just a 2-minute clip of Cleveland Browns talking about that particular play. Of course, I think there definitely should have been a call. Jets running back Bilal Powell. Something about Bilal Powell. He'll be put on injury report with a neck injury. Of course, that's very unfortunate for the Jets because he is one of your leading rushers, if not the leading rusher. Of course, I was talking about the Raiders a minute ago. Amari Cooper, draft picks. Here's another thing for the Raiders. Their quarterback, Derek Carr, says he loves playing for the Raiders. The Oakland Raiders. Anyway, the Oakland Raiders. Despite their losing season. A bit of a surprise, Patrick Peterson wants out of the Cardinals organization. Bills quarterback Josh Allen is still out. Of course, Derek Anderson will start. The Bears look to end their drought versus the Jets. The Bears, of course, have been cold against the Jets, which is very strange because you think the Jets be the one team they could beat, but they're, of course, on a drought against the Jets. Sorry if I can't pronounce his last name right, but Adam Thielen, not the Jets, but Minnesota Vikings wide receiver, is statistically, and if you just watch the NFL, you don't analyze anything, you don't read statistics, then you can tell he is the best wide receiver in the National Football League. Will Fuller's night versus the Dolphins was curtailed by a possible ACL tear, and at 1:56 Eastern Time, it was confirmed he did indeed tear his ACL, and he will now miss the season. In touchdown and yards, he is second on the team, trailing only to DeAndre Hopkins. Deshaun Watson throws 5 touchdowns in his win over the Dolphins. The score is 42-23. Now on Instagram, I said the score is 42-27. However, it was, of course, 42-23. Doug Martin will replace Marshawn Lynch and get the Raiders' starting running back job. Jets wide receiver Robbie Anderson, doubtful he plays versus Bears. The Jaguars are known for their good defense, but they're going to change that. They're going to change their defensive strategies because they'll be playing 3 rookie cornerbacks against the Eagles. Speaking of the Jaguars, Blake Bortles is not afraid to make mistakes. He said that in his own words, not afraid to make mistakes. And I think you can tell that, I'm not going to use careless as a way to describe him, but I can't think of a more positive word than careless, to be honest. I'll just say he's outgoing. He's an outgoing quarterback. Bengals linebacker Vontae Burfict is ruled out due to a hip injury. Of course, he is arguably one of the best linebackers in the league, if not the best, and he's now out. In Major League Baseball, of course, the Kershaw-Sale matchup is looking like the best in Major League Baseball history. There's an argument there with Yankees and Red Sox games, and pretty sure the A's and the Giants had a good matchup at pitcher at one time. Anyway, the Red Sox did win Game 1 of the World Series 8-4. David Price started Game 2, and the Dodgers looked to redeem themselves. However, the Red Sox won in Game 2. They lead the World Series 2-0, and Kershaw struggling to win a World Series. And you can see the frustration because he was spotted cursing, screaming, and throwing his baseball cap around the field. The Raptors seeked a 5-0 start versus the Timberwolves, and they won 112-105. Trae Young versus Luka Doncic is indeed the most interesting rookie matchup of the season. Here are Luka Doncic's season stats. He averages 18 points per game, 6 rebounds a game, 4 assists a game, and Trae Young averages 23 points a game, 3 rebounds a game, and 8 assists a game. Blake Griffin scored the first 50-point game of the 18-19 season. The Rockets and Jazz are struggling to gain any footing. They played each other, and the Jazz won. Stephen Curry, immediately after Blake Griffin scored 50, scores 51 in 32 minutes. I did the math. That is 1.6 points a minute. So here are the NBA stats leaders, statistics. The leader in points per game is Blake Griffin with 36.3. Andre Drummond, of course, leads the rebounding with 16.3 rebounds a game. Kyle Lowry with 10 assists per game leads that category. Jimmy Butler leads the steals category with 3 a game. And Anthony Davis with 3.3 blocks per game. The Lakers and Bulls won their first games. Giannis is off to a historic start. Giannis Antetokounmpo starts his season with 4 straight 25-plus point, 15-plus rebound performances. The only player to do that in NBA history, other than Giannis, is Wilt Chamberlain. In men's basketball, Kansas player Silvio De Sousa will not play due to an NCAA rule violation. Missouri's Dante Porter will miss season with an ACL and MCL tear. Number 14 recruit Kyrie Walker decommits from Arizona State. He has offers from Arizona State, Illinois, California, LSU, Memphis, and more. And Kentucky kicks off their season versus 3rd Division Transylvania. And in football, statistically, I did a lot of research for this. This was about an 8-hour research thing that took about 3 days to do. Statistically, if TCU had only lost 1 game so far, and if everything else was how it is, so Alabama's undefeated, Ohio State lost to Purdue, all that, they would be the number 1 team in the country. Surprisingly, the most underwhelming conference is the Pac-12. Usually UCLA and USC are good, but they're not. The SEC is finally back in the eyes of national analysts. And you may think, well, they were always in the eyes of the national analyst. However, the Big Ten was the main focus of people like ESPN, Bleacher Report, CBS Sports, and all that. Boston College, of course, tonight will play their bandana game against Miami. The last time I checked, Boston College is in the lead 14-7. And here, I made like a playoff bracket kind of thing. So there will be two playoffs. One will be the most surprising teams in a good way, and the most surprising teams in a bad way in college football. So in a good way, here are the playoffs. Texas, West Virginia, Notre Dame, and Florida. So those are the 4 most surprising teams in a good way. I guess since I have some people that I know listen, I have 10 subscribers, actually. I never thought I'd get to 10 subscribers, actually. I thought I'd never get there. But, so, tell me of those 4 teams, who is the most surprising in a good way? Texas, West Virginia, Notre Dame, and Florida. Now, who are the most surprising teams in a bad way? Here are those teams. Georgia, Penn State, Wisconsin, and Ohio State. I'll read off that list again. The most surprising teams in college football in a bad way. Georgia, Penn State, Wisconsin, and Ohio State. I think that is going to be it for this podcast. This is just short. This is just a short one. I was simply just trying to, say something. Haven't done an actual podcast in a few days. Of course, now I've started to post highlights, and hopefully you all check them out. Most of them are basketball related, but there's about a 10-minute compilation of Alabama's losses since 2011. Thank you all for listening. This has been Sports Central Podcast.